Hey, welcome back. It's Laura Landers, and this is my show, Morning Matcha, where I get to talk about whatever I want. And this morning, we're going to be talking about how to strengthen your relationships or your friendships. This may pertain to someone you're in quarantine with. This is why it's super important, because you're stuck with people, or maybe you want to strengthen a friendship that is long distance. During this time, we get to really focus on our relationships. We don't have as much going on, so this is a perfect time to focus on how to strengthen your friendships. So whether it's your spouse, or maybe you're living with family, or you just want to strengthen those relationships, let's dive in. So the first thing you need to know about how to strengthen your relationships is by knowing the heart of that friend. You have to know their heart, and to know their heart, for example, my birthday was last Friday in quarantine. Didn't really have any expectations, didn't know how I was going to feel special. I just knew I needed to feel special. So it ended up being that my friends really knew me, and I thought that that was amazing because I kind of didn't tell them how to know me as well as they do, but I think over time they've learned. But this is kind of an accelerated way to make that happen. So because of that, I was so blessed. I had a great day, and I think just getting to know the heart of that friend is about knowing their love languages. There's 5 of them. This is pretty general knowledge, but I don't want to assume every single person knows about the 5 love languages. So there's physical touch, which I know is hard right now, and so is quality time. That could also be hard. But then you have words of affirmation, you have, I'm like racking my brain for these, you have receiving gifts, and you have acts of service. So I hope I didn't just jack those up. But anyways, those are the 5 love languages, and I am acts of service. So it ended up being that on my birthday, I had so many people make me things and then drop them off, like actually driving to drop them off at my doorstep, or making a video and then editing the video and then sending it. It's like, for me, I need you to put in a lot of effort for me to feel loved. So that's just one example. But I had a great birthday. So right off the bat, if you can have you and your friend take the 5 love languages quiz, I'll tell you about where to find that later. So worth it. Okay, number 2, you gotta be intentional. Be intentional. This one is probably my number 1 thing in a friendship, because if you are not being intentional to me, then you're not gonna be my friend. Or you're gonna phase out over time, because I am a very intentional person. I expect the same thing back. Maybe you're that way, or maybe you're not at all, and you didn't know that you're in a friendship. That requires some intentionality. So, I mean, the difference between a friend and a good friend is being there, right? It is a 2-way street, and you need to be there for that person. I'm proud to say a lot of my relationships, we are there for each other, and that's super important. So the way to do that, and I know that people say this all the time, and I almost didn't even want to say it, but it is that important. It's to send a text, it's to send a video, it's to send a phone call that says, hey, I care for you. Hey, I'm here for you. Are you going through a hard time? What do you need? Maybe put action to it. Say, what do you need? How can I help? How can I love you today? How can I be a better friend? If you're a Christian, how can I pray for you? I mean, there's all these different kinds of acts that you can do that literally take you 1 minute. And you just strengthened your friendship times a million. And then you get to leave feeling like a better person, and that person loves you even more, and you love them more, and it's just this whole fest of love, and don't we just love it? So that is how to be intentional. The third one is when you start growing your friendships, you might come in to a little moment of pain. And that is because you're growing, and you're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna offend the friend you have, or you're not gonna be there for them when they wanted you to be, or vice versa. And that sucks, but it's life, because we're humans and we're not perfect. So you need to know how to react, or know how your friend is gonna react to problems. And that is by learning what your Enneagram number is and learning what their Enneagram number is. This is super important. I know a lot of people don't want to do the Enneagram, but it's so helpful, not only in realizing how you're growing as an individual, but relationally, it is so good for you because Jordan and I realize I'm a 4 and he's an 8. And so he just wants to get right down to it. He's super loyal, but he like doesn't beat around the bush. And I'm a very emotional person. I'm very logical, but I have a lot of feelings. So I have to talk about my feelings. I just have to talk them out. I have to let my feelings be validated, and I have to feel all the pain, and then I can move on. And at the beginning of our relationship, Jordan did not know that he just needed to listen. So what we learned over a long period of time is that every time I start a semi-serious conversation, Jordan, whenever he realizes this, he kind of stops and says, hey, is this me listening or do you want advice? And that sets my heart up to be like, I want to have you listen right now. Or, you know what, I think I could take some advice. Usually it's just listening, but just knowing our Enneagram numbers right off the bat, he's not coming at it in anger, he's just coming at it and I don't want to beat around the bush, and I'm coming about it as I need to express my feelings. So that completely helped our marriage. So just imagine what that would do for your friendship. You know, just even knowing their Enneagram number and really nothing more, you can read about that, and then you get to know everyone else a little bit better, even if they're not your friend, and you find out what their Enneagram number is, and you just all feel like you're connected a little bit more. So I would highly suggest taking the Enneagram test. I will tell you about a free one here at the end. The fourth and final thing is to have grace for your friend. I said have grace in my last video, and I'm not usually someone who preaches on grace all the time, but grace in a friendship is so needed. You have to accept them for who they are. You have to not sweat the small stuff. You have to let that go because we're humans. We are not perfect people. We have to make sure that we are giving grace for our friends, and we have to give grace for ourselves if we mess up in our friendship. So just keep that in mind. So here's your 4 takeaways. Are you ready? You have to know the heart of that person. Get to know their 5 love languages. Go to 5lovelanguages.com. Free test. So easy, so great. Okay. Second takeaway is to be intentional. Take the first step. Text someone, call someone, video someone. Tell them you care, tell them you love them, tell them how can I be there for you. So simple, so needed. The third one is know how they react in a conflict. So that's knowing their Enneagram number. The way you can do that, so easy. Go to yourenneagramcoach.com. It'll be linked below. Super free, Christian-based, wonderful test. It's super cool to know what your number is. And I want to know your number, so please comment below. And I want to know your love language. No joke, I want to know it. So comment below because that's so exciting for me. And then the last one, the fourth one, have grace for yourself, have grace for your friend, because we're just human beings trying to be loving in a relationship, and that's all. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna froth my milk. I hope you have a great time in quarantine. Try to make your friendships a little bit better today.